Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Cory with the Mills team at Keller Williams Realty. Today, I'm here with Taylor Vannoy, and we're going over some market statistics that we're seeing not only in our local markets, but we're going to talk about Texas as a whole, and we're going to dive into that. So, Taylor, how's it going today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Let me go ahead and share my screen so everybody can see these numbers that we're talking about. So, Taylor, talk a little bit about these numbers we're looking at. Obviously, this is January of 2022 compared to January of 2021. And what the market's done. So go ahead and let's dive into this a little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to go over Texas as a whole for January 2022 compared to 2021. So the median sales price is up almost 20%. If you look over at market share, 28.1% of the homes that are being sold in Texas are between that 200 to 299 price range. Active listings are down 20.7%, which is something we've seen hold pretty steady over the past year or two, really. And then closed sales are up just slightly, less than half a percent up. And then months on inventory as a whole is 1.2. So I know you've mentioned before many times that 6 months is kind of that balanced market. So even Texas overall as a whole is just a little over 1 month on inventory.
Yeah, and what that tells us is we're looking at, it's a seller's market right now, meaning that there's just not much to choose from, and buyers are competing against every listing that they're looking at. So it's very important whenever you're looking at all these numbers. It's very important to work with an agent who knows what's going on in the market and who can give you good advice on how to get your offer accepted with a contract that makes sense for you and your budget. So let's look at, and I'll kind of talk about just what's going on in Dallas County. Once again, we usually talk about up here in Texoma, but we wanted to give some insight on what's going on in the rest of Texas. So Dallas County up 16.2%, median sales price of $315,000. And we see just a little over 30% of that market share is between the $200,000 and $300,000 range. Active listings down. This is once again the trend that we've been seeing pretty much since COVID started, and people kind of pulled back from listing their house, and it seems like inventory just hasn't been able to catch up. And we were already in a seller's market there, but active listings down 49.4%, almost 50% compared to last year, and closed sales down 4.9%. Now, when you see that closed sales number, a lot of people are like, oh, the market's down. Whenever you have 50% fewer homes to buy, you're going to see, and especially whenever you compare to December and November of 2021, you're going to see that active closings are down as well. So average days on market, 29 days to get a contract, and then another 34 days to close, and then under 1 month of inventory in Dallas. This next one that Taylor's going to talk about is just some pretty staggering numbers for Collin County.
Yeah, so Collin County, median sales price up almost 25%. Market share shows that 29% of the homes being sold in Collin County are between that 500 and 750 price range. Active listings are down 42% and closed sales are down a little over 5%. And then on the months on inventory, it's the lowest we've seen this far as half a month on the inventory.
Yeah. And even, when you compare it, there's a note down here comparing to January of last year, it was 0.8 months of inventory. Collin County is one of those areas where, it's a suburb of Dallas and everybody is trying to move there. There's really high demand. There's higher price points. And it's just one of those markets that's really taken off over the last, several years. Next up, we'll talk about some of our local markets here in Grayson County. The median sales price is up compared to January of 2021, 13.6%, with a median sales price of $275,000. Active listings, once again, we're seeing fewer homes to choose from. And here in Grayson County, closed sales are up. There was a lot of market activity November, December, leading to extra closings in January. And then 1.1 months of inventory. So not a whole lot to choose from right there. And what this means is that listings are still coming on the market, but they're going under contract extremely quick too. So once again, that goes back to you have to be working with an agent who does this full time, who understands the market and who understands what it takes to get your offer accepted and put your best foot forward. So that's where Taylor comes in.
Cory as well.
And then Taylor talked a little bit about Cook County.
Okay, so Cook County, 3.5% up in median sales price, active listings down 44%, and closed sales down 3.6%. So again, when you have so much or so many fewer listings on the market, it's just there's not a lot for the buyers to choose from, or it kind of shows you that's the reason those closed sales are down, is because there's really just nothing to choose from out there. And then months on inventory 0.7. So you can see it compared to February of 2021 was 1.2. So steadily, as we've seen, we talk about it every time, is it's getting less and less.
Yep, absolutely. And then looking at Fannin County, the median sales price is up 4.9%. This is an interesting statistic here compared to February of last year. 79.7% increase in active listings on the market. And so I thought that was a pretty interesting number. And I went and looked at just how that breakdown of what type of listings, and it's a pretty healthy mix between residential home sales, just raw acreage lots, and even some new construction out there. Closed sales are up in 37%. And with this spike in inventory, of course, months on inventory is 3 months that are available out there. So anyways, that's just a little bit of what is going on. And then we're going to, we don't have to go through all these numbers, but you can see the Sherman housing numbers are up. They kind of track pretty closely with what's going on with Grayson County as a whole. Sherman and Denison both up 17%. And, very few months, very limited inventory is what we're seeing. So, Taylor, let's talk a little bit about, because there's been some updates lately with interest rates. Mm-hmm. And what have you been hearing from some lenders that you're working with, and how it affects their buyers that are out shopping right now?
So interest rates, as everyone knows, has been steadily rising recently. So right now we're seeing anywhere from 4.25%, 4.5%, kind of just depending on your credit situation, your financial situation. But it does make a huge difference when you are going to put in an offer, because as we know, with COVID, we saw rates as low as under 3%. Right. So obviously when rates are that low, you have quite a bit more purchasing power. So something to keep in mind, and something that you need to be very open to talking to your lender and your agent about, is that rates are increasing. So that's more than likely going to decrease your buying power. And you've mentioned a few times throughout here how important it is to work with a knowledgeable agent, but a knowledgeable local agent as well as a knowledgeable and local lender, because everyone needs to have an open line of communication with each other, because that's going to be your advantage to putting in a good offer and winning out in a multiple offer situation, is having everyone on the same page and making sure that everyone is aware of what's going on, and that you're not putting in offers where you thought your rate may have been 3.5%, but now all of a sudden it's 4.25%, because that's going to make a huge difference payment wise. And you don't, as the buyer, you don't want to see that and be disappointed, and we don't want to disappoint you with that either.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've even had, there are some situations where when you have that change of rate, that's obviously going to affect the top end of what a buyer's approved for. So if you're working with, this is just a tip for loan officers too, if you're not updating your agents and your pre-approved buyers, hey, this is how these rate increases affect you, definitely reach out to them. And that's something that we're making sure before we put any offers out for our buyers or anything like that, we're making sure that people are understanding how that rate increase affects them and their offer. So we just wanted to kind of give you guys an update of what's going on, what we're seeing here in the market. And if y'all have any questions, or if you're thinking about buying or selling, reach out to Taylor, reach out to myself. We'd love to make sure that y'all are taken care of.